1, 2, 3, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran. We do it every day, Monday through Friday, around about noon, 12-ish. I come here, and I offer you all the day's information, at least as far as I see fit. Here's what happens. I'm a news junkie. I wake up early in the morning. I look at all the stories that are going around, and I'm like, I could rant on that. I could rant on that, and I can rant on that. And I compile a list, and then I perform it to you every day, round about noonish. Today, 12:18. Still noonish. I don't think we've got a consensus on what ish is. Point is this. We've been doing it for 3 years. 3 years every day, Monday through Friday. This is a talk radio of a kind you can't get anywhere else in terrestrial radio. I don't carry water for any one political party, so it's not like I'm going to do that. I am doing talk radio for whom I believe to be normal Americans. Well, hey, Pugs, how do you define a normal American? Well, I'd put it to you like this. A normal American is somebody who has never gone viral for being thrown off an airplane. Huh? Have you ever been thrown off an airplane? Did you go viral for it? You're not normal. I'm sorry, you're not normal. Normal people do not allow it to get that far. You're not normal. Have you ever been arrested in the parking lot of a Target store? Maybe it's a Walmart. I don't know. Maybe it's just a mall. Have you ever chased a teacher through the parking lot of your school board meeting? If you have, you're not normal. You're not normal. I don't want you listening to that. I don't want you streaming. I don't want you hanging out. What's the other one? Are you banned from your family's gatherings? Like, and I don't mean even the big ones. Like, are you banned from Thanksgiving? That's easy. Are you allowed to go to, Aunt so-and-so's? Do you have to be? Does somebody pull you aside before a family event and say shit like, well, come on, this is really important to grandma? Like, are you that person? If you are, you're not normal. You're not normal. You need special handling, and you're not going to get this show. You're not going to get me. You're not going to like me. You're not going to like us in the chat room. So that's what we've been doing here for 3 years. I perform this stream of consciousness. What's that? That's just me talking. That's what I'm doing right now, stream of consciousness. No governor, no filter, just whatever word pops into my head next, I say it. Now, I perform this stream of consciousness there's some order to it. 4 quarters. In my head, the show plays out in 4 quarters, 4 distinct segments. First one, we call it Antecedently on This Day. That's a look back at this day in history. No more nor less. Yeah, it's this day in history. I call it antecedently because I'm a bit pretentious. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. Quarter 3 is deads. People who died on this day. Notable, quotable celebrities, historical figures, people who have made a contribution and they died on this day. What do? We look at their lives and we decide, did they go to heaven? Or did they go to hell? They died on this day. Where'd they go? Up or down? That's what we do in quarter 3. Quarter 4 is all the day's hot topics, current events, trends, whatever it is people are talking about. We're talking about drones. Not a whole lot, although there is an interesting wrinkle to the drone story that I'll get to. We're going to talk about Mangione, Ferrari, whoever this guy, Luigi Mangione. They're bringing him back to New York. Big news in the Luigi Mangione story. What else are we going to talk about? Let's see. Got a whole bunch of stuff I want to get into today. Doing the drones. That Trump and Elon, they're doing stuff, good or bad. I don't know. Above my pay grade. All I know is that they're doing stuff. I'll tell you about that. Also, we're going to talk about the world's most dangerous cities and the world's, or not loudest, not world's. We're going to talk about America's most dangerous cities and America's loudest states. Now, I don't know what the criteria for loudest state is. Just like loud mouth, like I shut your mouth, like that. No, I think it's just loud. I think it's just like what kind of shit's going on in that state that's making it loud. All right, we got a whole bunch, and I'll tell you about a billionaire who's one of the good ones. That's right. One of the good ones. Oh, them people. I'll tell you, you can't trust those people. They're lazy. They're shiftless. The billionaire class, of course, is what I'm talking about. But there are some good ones. So every now and again, you get one who understands who they are. And they're one of the good ones. I got a story about one of the good billionaires. So we'll do that. Let's say hi to the chat room. Hi, folks. Who do we got? We got my girl April. We got Peter. We got Jeff. We got Frankie. We got Frank. We got Texas Rangers. We got Byron. All right, we got everybody. Come on, one. Come on. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. I slept with my window open last night for a good 4 hours. And then I was awoken by the dog who burrowed her way. She had to sleep at the bottom of the bed. That's where she sleeps. You're a dog. Get to the bottom. She's in the bed. That's like most dog owners, like, the dog is not allowed in the bed. Like, no, the dog is wanted in the bed. The dog is like, why is the dog wanted in the bed? One, because I love the dog. And the dog needs to feel a part of the pack, and I don't want her to feel ostracized. So that's why the dog is allowed in the bed, but at the foot, at the bottom. Also, and this might be the primary reason why the dog is allowed on the bed, because when the boogeymen come in and they kick open the door, I want the dog as close to me as possible so that it can maybe afford me an opportunity to roll out of bed into my ninja crouch. Then I'll grab my little stick that I got hidden by the side of the bed, and then it's game on. Wah-cha! At least that's how I got it drawn up in my head. So the dog's got to be on the bed. Dog's got to create that initial distraction for when the boogeyman comes through in the middle of the night. Anyway, go to sleep with the window open, and like 3 hours, the dog is burrowing. She's like not at the bottom of the bed anymore. Now she's under the blankets. And I feel her out. She's like on my legs. She's like, she's cold is the point. She's cold because I slept with the window open. Then we laid there. She woke me up, and I knew what she wanted. She wanted to be warm. And, that's fine by me. I'm good. I'm a loving dog owner. If we're asleep and she's cold, I'll, spoon her. So I start spooning her. But then she starts getting all finicky. Like, that ain't good enough. Like, she didn't want daddy to spoon her. That's not what she wanted. She wanted me to get off my ass and close the door or the window or whatever. So I did. So I had to get up in the middle of the night. Like, I'm in my underwear. It's like 4 a.m. It's like 38 degrees in the bedroom. But let me tell you, folks, there are a few things in life that I enjoy more. This tops the orgasm. It tops the orgasm. I'm sorry. Name any great thing. The best sandwich you ever had. This is better. And it's that feeling of knowing you're going through hell because it's 38 degrees and you got to close the window in the middle of the night, but knowing that in just a matter of seconds, you're going to be back in that bed under them covers, and you're going to, oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. Like being a little kid. You remember being a little kid? Did your mom do this? Mine did, because my mom's better than yours, apparently. When you were a little kid, did you like run out of the shower or the bathtub and get into bed, and then you had like dryer, warm jammies? Oh, that was the best. I don't even know if they were clean. Mom would just throw the jammies in the dryer so that when I got out of the shower, I would put on warm jammies. That's what it's like. I'm telling you, man, it's one of the best sensations in the world. The mental anticipation of knowing, all right, I just got to close this window and then I'm going to get back under the covers. Oh, it's fantastic. Got another dog story for you here in the small talk segment. You all know about the dog CeeLo. She's a problem. She's not a nice dog. She's nice to us. She loves us. She loves her people. It's just that those she deems not her people that she has a problem with. She's a hooly bully. That is her breed. It's a Catahoula and American Bulldog mixture. She's a pit bull and a Catahoula. Okay, that's basically what she is. But for fancy reasons, like, she's not a pit bull. She's an American Staffordshire. I'm like, nah, she's a hooly bully. She's big. She's like 110 pounds. She's all muscle. She's just like, so she met a cat the other night. She's got like a cat cousin that she's got to become acclimated to, a cat cousin. And there's been a lot of consternation about the introduction of CeeLo, the dog, to the cat, right? And so, yeah, we've all seen it. We know, right? You people are going to be like, I've got a dog and a cat. And that cat runs roughshod over the dog. The dog's got about 100 pounds on that cat, and yet the cat is definitely the boss. And then you look at all these TikTok videos. 40 minutes of cats dominating their much larger dog brothers. And it's all these cute videos of like cats going back, back, and just like bonking dogs. And then big dogs going, I don't want to kill the cat. And they run away. It's, it's adorable. Oh my God, the hiccups are here. So that's the programming. Promise you, there's going to be a half dozen people in the chat room. Half dozen. I should be so lucky to have a half dozen people who can relate to one of my stories. It's going to be someone in the chat room who's going to be like, I've got a cat, and that cat is the boss. That dog. All right, so we introduce our dog with all of that, right? You know what? What happens more than not is that the cat totally dominates the dog. So we introduced the dog and cat last night. I don't know. The whole thing lasted. Oh, God. I don't know. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So we introduced the dog to the cat. And it wasn't a TikTok video, folks. I'm sorry. That's some programming bullshit. That's the rarity. It's the rarity when the cat is like, I'm the boss. This dog, within seconds, went into murder mode. Just went, I'm going to kill that fucking thing. And like just pounced on it. The cat's trying to get out of the way. And I'm like, that's not how this was supposed to go. I have to tackle CeeLo. She's biting me on the arm. I mean, she knows, that dog thing when a dog is in a frenzy and it's like, all right, who can I bite? Who can't I bite? And so she like puts her like puts her jaw and mouth on my bicep. And I'm like, no. And then she immediately stopped because, she knows her master. But holy shit, screw you, TikTok, and all your kitty cat videos. Kitty cat dominates big mean dog. That's not reality. Reality played out in my living room just for a couple of minutes when we introduced a cat to my dog, and it didn't go well. Suffice it to say, the idea of, why don't we just leave them alone in the house? I'm sure they'll get to know each other. We will come home to a wrecked house because that cat will run and jump, and the tree will get knocked over. Everything will be wrecked. We'll come home to that, and then we'll find the dog laying in her bed chewing on a cat head. Because eventually that dog, who is a super athlete, the dog climbs trees and chases down squirrels. I mean, I've seen it with mine own eyes. So anyway, screw you, TikTok, and screw all you people with my cat dominates my dog. That ain't happening in our world. That ain't the real world. Real world, dog wants to murder cat as soon as human isn't looking. So that's what we're dealing with. Frankie's like, cats are awesome. Cats are fine. Cats are fine. Dogs are awesome. Okay, let's define awesome. Is there a difference between cats and dogs? Yes. Can they both be awesome? No. As far as I'm willing to go with cats is that cats are fine. Cats are fine. And that's real progress from me. The first 25 years of my life, I'm like, cats belong in bags at the bottom of rivers. I didn't like cats. Like dogs. Fortunately, the dog that we are currently in possession of is an a-hole. And I don't know how that's going to bode for her life moving forward. She needs to get socialized better. Can't just want to kill the cat. You're damn right, Peter. Dog's out of bed. Frankie says he goes both ways. He's by dog usual. By goes both ways. I don't think you can go both ways. I really don't think you can. Frank, you got to make a decision. Can't be like, I like dogs and cats equal. You can't. They're two completely different personality types. You can't like them equally. It's not allowed. Not only is it not allowed, but it's not like, it's the sign of like a lunatic mind if you can like both cats and dogs equally. That's my position, and I'm going to stay there. All right, what do you say we get started? This show, as I like to point out every day, it runs on your gratuities. Thank you so much for helping us out. drop a little something in the Cash App or in the Venmo. I'll put that up there later. We do award the title of executive producer to the person who tips the show the best. Today we have an executive producer. We also have an honorable mention because it is that time of year, Christmas and whatnot. Ching, 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 ching-a-ling, ding, ding, ding-a-ling, do. Go ahead, YouTube. Try and charge me for that. We do have an executive producer today. Thank you so much to Tracy. Tracy is our executive producer. She tipped this morning. At the last minute, she bumped out the person who was supposed to be our executive producer, and we'll get him in there because again, thank you so much, Chuckles. Chuckles also a significant tip yesterday. Thank you, Chuckles. But today's executive producer is going to be Tracy. So Tracy, thank you so much. Like I say, we push at the end of the month typically, or the first week of the new month, whatever, depending on whether or not I care about my credit rating, which I don't, because it's all a construct. We push. We do a thing called Pledge Week, where we're always like, this is what we need, and you guys need to come through. And you always come through. Not always, but you always get me close enough where it's like, man, we did it. We can do it. I can put more skin in the game this month. So, that always is great at the end of the month. But it's these like off-month tips, right? These off-week tips where you people, and especially this time of year, thank you so much. Season's greetings. Love you, Tracy. You're the best. And thank you to Chuckles as well. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the biggest tipper of the day. How do you do that, Pugs? Well, you check out one of these two options, the Venmo or the Cash App. Drop a little something, and we move forward from there. What do you say we get started with today's rant? I'll fill you in on all the things that are happening in the world today, and we'll be the better for it. Probably a little bit dumber. You'll probably, because I'm not really smart. I just pay attention to things, and then I parrot shit back, So whatever, but you're going to hear about all the things that are happening. Let's get started. It's the Rant, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. I am Pugs Moran. It is the Rant for the 19th day of December, year of our Lord 2024. Did you know it's the 354th day of the year? That means only 12 days remaining in 2024. Getting into the single digits, man. Getting into the single digits. Let's do quarter one. We call it antecedently on this day. It's just a fancy way of saying this day in history, or maybe you prefer previously on December the 19th. On this day in the year 1606, the ships, we got some ship names of ships used to be important. We don't know these ships. I'm going to argue that I think we should know these ships. We don't know these ships. Maybe you know these ships. Maybe you're a ship weirdo. I don't know. But on this day in 1606, the ships, the Susan Constant, so some dude was married to a woman named Susan and she constantly was like a pain in his ass or something. The Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. They depart England. Do we know what these are? No, we don't know what these are. Never heard of these. These are the boats that carried the Jamestown, Virginia settlement people. This is like the first Americans. I know the Pilgrims get all the credit, but they were still like, I don't know what they were. These were the ones. These are the boats we should know. What do we know? We know the Mayflower. Here's all the boats we know. The Mayflower, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. We know the Titanic. We know the Lusitania. We know the Achille Laurel. And then we know a bunch of military boats. That's not fair, though, because, they're involved in military. That's it. That's it for the boats we know. The Poseidon, that's not even a real one. That's not even a real boat. The Poseidon, but we know it. What other boats do we know? I'll tell you the ones we don't know. On this day in 1606, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery ferried from England the settlers of the Jamestown, Virginia settlement. It is the very first of the original 13 colonies. I was thinking about Jennifer Connelly. 13 colonies. Antecedently on this day in 1776, Thomas Paine publishes one of a series of pamphlets in the Pennsylvania Journal entitled The American Crisis. Thomas Paine. Now, I'm a TJ guy. You know that I love the Enlightenment messaging of Thomas Jefferson. I love the intellectual poetry, that he put into the vision that TJ Thomas Jefferson had for America. But little known, even more of an influence back in these days, was Thomas Paine. Now, Thomas Paine didn't go on to be president. Thomas Paine didn't do anything like, politically or anything like that. Thomas Paine was one of our founding fathers. We know the name. Like, if you heard the name, you'd be like, yeah, wasn't he a founding father? But I don't know that we really understand what he did. Thomas Paine was a dude who was brought to America. He was from England. He was born and raised in England. Brought to America by Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was a newspaper publisher, and Ben Franklin was a rabble-rouser. We'd call him a troublemaker, by today's standards. Ben Franklin brought Thomas Paine over to America because Thomas Paine was a writer. Thomas Paine was a rabble-rouser writer. Thomas Paine was a guy who could just stir people's emotions with his words. So Ben Franklin thought this could be a useful skill because Ben Franklin had these grand plans for these new 13 colonies. We all know how those grand plans came out. So Thomas Paine was brought over and he published pamphlets, books, but pamphlets is what they were called at the time. They were published by Ben Franklin, who was the guy who supported him. Famously, of course, Common Sense, Thomas Paine's Common Sense was a pamphlet that was widely regarded as one of the main motivators of the average patriot back in the Revolutionary War. They all read Thomas Paine's Common Sense and was motivated and ginned up, as I like to say. And of course, on this day, the American Crisis is published. Thomas Paine, Common Sense, the American Crisis, the words that stirred a nation into revolution. Not even really an American. Like, I think after that, he left here. I think he left and went to like Germany or something. I don't know. Thomas Paine published The American Crisis on this day in 1776. Also on this day, 1 year later, 1777, the American Revolutionary War, George Washington's Continental Army goes into winter quarters where? At Valley Forge. Or so the Brits thought. Of course, it was on this day that Washington said, all right, this is a good spot right here at Valley Forge across from the Delaware River. We're going to stay here all winter. The Brits don't even have to worry about us until, the first thaw. Of course, we know that he would cross the Delaware River in a snowstorm. Washington knew what he was doing. On this day in 1777, Continental Army sets camp for the winter at Valley Forge. On this day in we're going to skip right ahead. I don't care about any of this stuff. Let's go all the way up to 1983. Here you go. The original FIFA World Cup trophy, the Jules Rimet Trophy, is stolen from the headquarters of the Brazilian Football Confederation in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I only mention this because I once saw a documentary about this, and it was crazy. They stole the FIFA World Cup. For what purpose? Antecedently on this date, 1998, President Bill Clinton is impeached by these here United States House of Representatives, becoming the second president of the United States to be impeached. That's okay. It's a normal thing now. We're going to impeach plenty of people now. That's just how we do. All right, that's going to do it for the Antecedently on this day segment. Quarter one is in the books. Let's move into birthdays. Talk about people celebrating. Bonum. They claim it's their birthday. Born on this day. All right, here we go. A little local legend as we do our show from North Texas. Y'all know that I live on the campus of SMU, Highland Park, Texas. Beautiful area of the country. If you've never been, you simply must. Here we go. Local legend, born on this day, 1926, would die in 1986. This fits a theme of the last couple of days. Maybe even falling into last week. I've been sitting here trying to get you guys to appreciate the quarterbacks of years gone by. We've talked about Otto Graham, talked about Slinging Sammy Baugh. Today, we're going to talk about the birthday boy, Robert Lawrence Lane. Bobby Lane! All right, we talked about Otto Graham and his influence on the Cleveland Browns football team back in the glory days of football. Talked about Otto Graham. He was with the Browns, and then we talked about Slinging Sammy Baugh. He was, of course, with the Redskins, put the Redskins on the map. Who was Bobby Lane with? Bobby Lane was drafted by my Chicago Bears, but because, we have a historical deficiency in being able to recognize Hall of Fame quarterbacks, we immediately traded him to the Detroit Lions, where Bobby Lane would become a Hall of Famer. American professional football player Bobby Lane was a player. He was a quarterback for 15 seasons in the National Football League, played his college football at Texas for the Longhorns before being selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers with the 3rd overall pick in the 1948 draft. Of course, in that draft, he was then immediately traded to the Chicago Bears, who didn't know what to do with him. I don't know. Lane played 1 season with the Chicago Bears and then an additional season with the New York Bulldogs before being traded to the Detroit Lions in 1950. Between 1950 and 1958, Lane would set franchise records and league records. He was traded to the Steelers in 1958, where he played until 1962. Bobby Lane was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1967, back when it didn't mean dick. Didn't mean dick. All of those dudes that got in 67, now it's like a whole weekend that's covered live on ESPN, culminates with a big football game. Back then, it was probably just a meeting of 10 dudes at like a Benny's. 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 It was like a Denny's. I don't even know if there were Denny's back then. Anyway, he's an old-timer Hall of Famer. He's one of them dudes. Lane was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 67 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 68. His number 22 is retired by both the Texas Longhorns and the Detroit Lions. Let's learn a little bit more about Bobby Lane. Born in Santa Ana, Texas, Lane grew up on a farm. Listen to this backstory. I love this backstory. Born in Santa Ana, Texas, Bobby Lane grew up on a farm in Coleman County, just north of Santa Ana. His father, only 36 years old, died of a heart attack when Lane was 8. His mother, Bee, was so destitute, she couldn't afford to keep the entire family together. Lane's 2 sisters stayed with his mother, the one that's super destitute. Remember this, split the family up. Lane's 2 sisters stayed with the destitute mother, while he was sent to Fort Worth to live with his aunt and uncle, Mimi and Wade Hampton. The Hamptons eventually adopted Lane and moved him to Highland Park, Texas, which was then a suburb just north of Dallas. He attended Highland Park High School in University Park. Lane's best friend and football teammate was fellow Hall of Famer Doak Walker, the Heisman Trophy winner in 1948 for the Mustangs, and also a pro teammate with the Detroit Lions. That is crazy. That is the second time we've had this situation come out of Highland Park. We are currently experiencing this situation in a little slightly different way. But back then, I'm always amazed by these things. Like I always tell you about, Dustin Hoffman when he was a waiter and he was a struggling artist. His roommate, who was Robert Duvall, moved out to California. And he was like, I'm going to go try and be an actor in California. And Dustin Hoffman, the waiter, is like, yeah, good luck with that. I don't think any of us are going to be actors. And so Robert Duvall leaves. And now Dustin Hoffman puts an ad in the newspaper, and the first guy to knock on the door is Gene Hackman, right? It's like, what? You guys weren't famous, and now you're all famous together? I don't, that kind of thing. That's such a weird thing. Tommy Lee Jones, going off to Yale, and his roommate is Al Gore. Neither of them are famous yet. How does that happen? I'm always amazed by that. Well, here we have another situation. Bobby Lane, Hall of Fame quarterback, Highland Park High School. His little buddy running the streets of Highland Park, Doak Walker, who was another legend. We have that now. We've got Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, who is on his way to the Hall of Fame, quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. His best friend is Clayton Kershaw? Yeah, Clayton Kershaw. His best friend from growing up, running around the streets of it, is Clayton Kershaw. Hall of Fame pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. How do these things work out? How come none of my friends went on to be? I need one of my friends to pop so that I can then maybe pop. I don't even have anybody else to. Nobody in my high school is famous. How is this? All right, I'm going to get over it. Anyway, a name you should know. Bobby Lane, Detroit Lions quarterback, Texas Longhorns quarterback, Hall of Famer in both college and football. Born on this day in 1941, Maurice White. He's, of course, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love Maurice White. Born on this day in 1942, Mean Gene Okerlund. He's a wrestling guy. He used to be, I remember when he was our local wrestling guy. When I was really little, he was like the local, whatever the Midwest, Chicago, Ben's Auto Sales wrestling show on Saturday was. It was always Mean Gene. And then all of a sudden, Mean Gene blew up. Mean Gene goes to WWF. I like Mean Gene. Born on this day in 1942. Born on this day in 1944, Tim Reed, Venus Flytrap. Love Venus Flytrap. Venus Flytrap, of course, from WKRP in Cincinnati, I believe. We're working, coming in 2025, Radio Misfits, we're going to put together a soap podcast. We're rewatching Soap and taking copious notes on all the episodes, and we're gonna bring you a thorough retrospective of the television show Soap, coming to RadioMisfits.com. Myself and Ed Silla. I want to do a WKRP one. I want to do one for WKRP too. And Tim Reed, of course, our birthday boy, born on this day in 1944. He is Venus Flytrap, one of the mainstays, a DJ at WKRP. People remember how Tim Reed got that. Tim Reed's an interesting story. Tim Reed was a part of a comedy team called Tim and Tom. Tim and Tom were a black and white stand-up comedy team in the 1970s, late 60s. They were kind of popular. Tom Dreesen was the other guy. It was Tim Reed and Tom Dreesen. Tim Reed would decide that he wanted to walk away from the act. Tim Reed was made very uncomfortable by the act in later years. It was a 1970s black guy and a white guy talking about, I'm a black guy and I'm a white guy and whatever. I always thought they were very funny. And anyway, Tom Dreesen would go on to have his own career as Frank Sinatra's permanent opening act for like the last 30 years, which is a good gig if you can get it. Tim Reed, of course, would go on WKRP in Cincinnati, and then he'd do a bunch of other TV stuff, whatever. But I want to show you an example of Tim and Tom. This was stand-up comedy, early 1970s. Tim and Tom, both from the south side of Chicago. They were big on the south side of Chicago, black clubs. Tom Dreesen would, in fact, have an entire career alone as a solo act, as a white comic on the Chitlin circuit. The Chitlin circuit was a circuit of black entertainment venues throughout the South that catered to urban, I guess they would call it at the time. You know, you'd see like Red Fox one week, Ike and Tina Turner the next, and then Tom Dreesen the next. And Tom Dreesen was like the white comic that did this like urban humor. Anyway, I love Tom Dreesen. He's like a regular on Chicago radio, and I've met him a bunch of times, and he is just an incredibly cool dude. Really great guy, nice, kind guy from Harvey, Illinois. Anyway, here's a little bit. This is what that comedy routine, Tim and Tom, looked like. Now, we don't even do comedy teams anymore, really, but it used to be a thing. And this is, I believe, the first and only black and white comedy team. Tim and Tom. Let's see, would this play in 2024?
And look, you got to pass the test, man. There's a lot of things before I turn you loose on some south side of some city.
Ask me anything.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions. You think you can handle it now?
I can handle it.
All right. Here's a setup. Pretend this is a black neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, I'm standing on the corner. Uh-huh. You pretend you're another black man. Walk up to me and start a conversation. All right. Now, I'm standing on the corner with some more black people. Selling radios and things. Now, you come up.
What are you doing on the corner?
I'm standing on the corner. Now, you just come up.
Okay. I need motivation.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the bus.
Okay, waiting for the bus.
Waiting for the bus. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Hey, baby.
Oh, look here, Leroy. Do the bus stop here.
What do you think this is, Amos and Andy? Do the bus stop here. You're gonna die in natural causes.
What you mean?
Some dude in the natural gonna kill you. Now you wait for the bus and I'll be the black man. Man, you got me confused. Do the bus stop here. Now you stand there, give me some room now. Now I'm coming up. Watch my action now. Remember, we brothers.
We brothers.
This is the ghetto.
The ghetto?
Yeah.
Where we at?
South side of Chicago.
The south side?
Corner 47 and Drexel.
Come on, bus! Come on with that bus!
Will you forget about the bus, man?
Taxi!
You waiting on me.
I gotta get out of this neighborhood. I've got a heart murmur.
Heart murmur?
My heart keeps murmuring, get out of there, Whitey, get out of there, Whitey.
Look, man, you're a black man. This is your idea. I'm already black. Now you wait for the bus. Now I'm coming up. Check me out now. Remember we brothers?
We brothers.
In the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
All right. Hey, what's happening, Jive? My main man. Say, look here, baby, this way I catch Big Mac. I gotta ease uptown, get me some new rags. You know, a couple fronts, pair of gators. Go check them traps. Do a little night crawling through the hood.
That's out of sight, man. I didn't know you spoke a foreign language.
That's ghetto talk, man. That's the way you talk in the hood.
In the hood?
The neighborhood. Just walk up here and repeat what I just said. Come on now, I'm waiting for the bus. Hey, baby.
Look here, man. This is where I catch Big Rag. I gotta slide uptown and buy a bus. There's some alligators stuck in my traps. I'm gonna go crawl through the night with the hood on.
No, Tom. Don't you ever crawl through a black neighborhood with a hood on. Let's get out of here.
The first biracial stand-up comedy team. I always thought they were funny. Here's what I'd say about that. I don't think there's anything racially offensive about that. I don't. Sorry, I know. But again, I will also afford you in your criticism of me saying that I'm a white guy and I see the world through a white guy's perspective. Those two guys, lifelong friends. Like there's not like a problem between those two guys. Those two guys are like brothers, Tim Reed and Tom Dreesen. But I'll also point this out. As is almost always the case, I believe that there is a difference between something being racist and something being racial. And I think that we far too often, we don't make a distinction between the two things. There's nothing wrong with having racial or discussions on race or being racial in the way that you're discussing something. Racist means that you just feel that by virtue of your skin tone, you are superior to somebody else. You're better than. Both can be problematic, right? But I think that, you can have humor that is based on racial differences without it being racist. If we can't laugh, we've got to be humor-based. Humanity's got to be humor-based. Can't be overly sensitive. So, but again, if you criticize me for saying that, I don't see anything wrong with those old days. And then a lot of other people didn't see anything wrong with it either. Tim Reed did. Tim Reed became uncomfortable with it. And, that's enough. That's why the act ended up splitting up. I'd also point this out, though, as is almost always the case. And we see this most commonly now in television advertisements. And it always bothers me in television advertisements. If you see a commercial featuring a family dynamic, okay, the kids are always going to be super precocious. Oh my God, that kid's going to say the wildest thing. Dad, and this is the real common thread. You don't even need kids. You just introduce a mom and a dad. Dad is always a fucking moron who you can't believe he's still alive, that he hasn't fallen off the roof and is in a wheelchair now. Every depiction of a husband when it's a female-male dynamic is that the male is the moron and that the female is just endlessly putting up with his moron nicks. All right, so that's a well-established sort of trope in order to sell things. Make the man an idiot. Guys don't fucking care, And I don't even care. I'm just making the observation, okay? So that's also kind of what we see here with like the Tim Reed and Tom Dreesen dynamic of like this racial, was it a racist act? Is it offensive? What we have there is that we have what we always see. Tom Dreesen, the white guy, is made the fool. The person who is dabbling in the racial area, the part that could be problematic if you wanted to be offended by everything, that person is almost always painted the fool, the silly one. Archie Bunker wasn't the hero on All in the Family. Both Carol O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker, and Norman Lear, who created the character, went to great lengths once the popularity of Archie started to become something that was outsized for what they'd envisioned. They went to great lengths to make Archie as reprehensible as possible. And he just started getting more and more popular. But make no mistake, Archie wasn't the hero. Archie was supposed to be the dummy, the oversimplistic thinker. Happy birthday, Tim Reed, Venus Flytrap from... There's a documentary to be made about Tim and Tom, the comedy duo of Tim Reed and Tom Dreesen, and kind of stuff that they were doing. Tim Reed, born on this day in 1944, born on this day in 1962. Jennifer Beals. What a feeling. Jennifer Beals, Flashdance. Jennifer Beals, The L Word. Jennifer Beals. Jennifer Beals is a bit of a fraud. Jennifer Beals has always presented herself, her whole thing with Flashdance. She was a breakthrough actress in Flashdance because she was biracial. She was biracial. There wasn't a lot of biracial stars in 1983 or whenever Flashdance came out. So she became a big star, and she was this, her backstory was, she's a biracial actress who is taking Hollywood by storm from her origins on the south side of Chicago. They painted this whole thing. Jennifer Beals. Jennifer Beals grew up super rich, okay? Yeah, she's biracial. Yeah, she's from the south side of Chicago, but there's super wealthy areas. Kanye has a house currently. There's really nice areas. The best example of who Jennifer Beals is, and people from Chicago will know this, Jennifer Beals is not some hard scrabble, biracial, ceiling-busting actress. She went to Francis Parker High School, which is the most exclusive high school in Chicago. It costs $50,000. It's not a girls' school. I think it used to be a girls' school, but now it costs $50,000 a semester. So Jennifer Beals, I like her, but she ain't that hard scrabble. She made it despite being biracial. Now, she made it because she's gorgeous and her family is super connected. Her family, the Beal family, in the Hannah family. I've told you the story about Daryl and Paige Hannah. They were the Hannah girls. Well, they were all the same age. They all went to Francis Parker together. All these fancy private school kids. What a feeling! Jennifer Beals, she's still hot though, man. Don't get it wrong. Born in 1963, Jennifer Beals still looks good. All right, let's go into we're gonna do this 2 days in a row. I don't like to do this 2 days in a row. I used to do drafts, and I started doing drafts way too much, so I'm dialing back on the drafts. Then we started doing this game that I play with my son. It's a derivation of the old Howard Stern fuck, marry, kill, right? I think that's a little bit harsh. So my son and I, we play this game called Kiss, Marry, Kick, just like Fuck, Marry, Kill, except we're going to kiss one real hard, though. We're going to make out, not just kiss. We're going to kiss one, we're going to marry one, and we're going to kick one to the curb. One's going to the curb. We've got three good ones, man. This is we are deep in Clone Central. Okay. My theories, if you listen to this show every day, that my theories on the Hollywood clone factory. I believe there's a clone factory that pumps out the same kind of actor and actress every couple of years. Let's go for our first Kiss, Marry, Kick contestant. Born on this day in 1969. We know her collectively probably best as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Ladies and gentlemen, actress Kristy Swanson. Boom, there she is. Kristy Swanson. All right. Let's look at her. Now, Kristy Swanson here, I would be hard-pressed if you just showed me this picture of Kristy Swanson without saying it's Kristy Swanson. You just show me that picture and you said, who's this? I'd say Kelly Preston, because Kristy Swanson and the late Kelly Preston are clones. Yes, they are. Kelly Preston, of course, the late wife of John Travolta. Her clone line was tragically retired prematurely, I think. I mean, she had kids. They couldn't let her raise the kids, but they retired her clone line because they just found it redundant. There were too many of them. They couldn't find work for Kristy Swanson, our birthday girl. All right, let's look at Kristy Swanson. What do we know about Kristy Swanson? Not a whole lot. God, here's what we know. We know that happened. Kristy Swanson. Christy Swanson. Christy Swanson looking pretty good. All right. Christy Swanson, our first contestant in F, Marry, Kill. Now, guys, I'm not kidding you on this, okay? I was making this, I was pulling up all the pictures for Christy Swanson, and I'm like, oh my God, you know how many Christy Swanson clones there are? I mean, my God, we got the Kelly Preston line, then we've got the other line. They went two different directions with Christy Swanson because you can make her glamorous and supermodel-y, or you can make her cheerleader next door. They went with two different lines with Christy Swanson. They went Kelly Preston line, but then also they went Reese Witherspoon. They went, who else did they go? Who's the other one? They went Julia Stiles. Oh my God. They made a fighting version in Ronda Rousey. Oh, they went nuts with the clone variations. So I'm thinking, I'm like, who was another clone? Who was another Christy Swanson clone? And I'm like, well, you know, you think about Amy Locane, and yeah, you do think about Amy Locane because it's Amy Locane's birthday too. All right, contestant number 2 for our Kiss, Marry, Kick. We're going to kiss one. We're going to marry the other. We're going to kick them to the curb. We've already seen Christy Swanson. Now we got Amy Locane. Now, Amy Locane, yeah, look at that, man. I mean, that's not her recently, and I'll tell you why. That's her. She's aging well. Amy Locane. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Christy Swanson, Amy Locane. You tell me the difference. There's no difference. Both born on this day. We're gonna. Amy Locane has some problems. Amy Locane could not appear in this segment because she is currently doing time in New Jersey. Amy Locane married a rich guy. She quit acting. She moved out to like Connecticut. She became like a housewife. She became a drunk housewife. She killed somebody while drunk driving in the middle of the afternoon a couple of years ago. She's serving hard time. Doesn't change the fact that she was once Amy Locane. All right. Kiss, Marry, Kick to the curb. We've got Christy Swanson. We've got Amy Locane. When was Amy born? Amy Locane was born. Christy Swanson was born in 1969, and Amy Locane is born in 1971. Editor's note, Amy Locane currently serving time in prison. Just so we're clear. This is F, Marry, Kill. I don't know if you want to be married to someone in prison. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, our next birthday girl. This lady, born on this day, also 1972. This is a big one. I got to tell you, my choice is already made. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday, Alyssa Milano, Sam Miceli. God. She was so pretty. She still is so. Wow, what's that? That looks like Susanna Hoffs 8 Alyssa Milano. That's what's going on there. All right. That's not Alyssa. That's Alyssa Milano. Look at that. What do you say? You want a hot blonde, but you need her to be Italian? Can I offer you an Alyssa Milano? Look at that. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. All right, so here we go. F, Marry, or Kiss, Marry, Kill. We've got Christy Swanson. We've got Amy Locane. And we've got Alyssa Milano. Let's just, oh, man. You know what? All right, here we go. This is what we're going to do. I think this is easy. Christy Swanson, Buffy, she's out. Okay, we're kicking her to the curb. Buffy the Vampire Slayer gets kicked to the curb. She's gone. So now, who am I going to make out really hard with? Kiss. And who am I going to marry? The incarcerated Amy Locane or Alyssa Milano, a woman I've had a crush on since I'm 10 years old. We're going to marry Alyssa Milano. We're going to marry Alyssa Milano. I'm marrying Sam Miceli, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. That's going to be my wife. Look at her. I know she started the whole Me Too thing. I don't care. She's selling books. Good. She can earn her own way. Oh, she's so pretty. All right, we're marrying Alyssa Milano, and that means that we're going to make out really hard with the jailbird, Amy Locane. You want to know why? Here's why. First of all, Amy Locane is just... When it comes down to which one are you going to make out with, really for me, it's just who's got the prettier face, and Amy Locane has a prettier face than Christy Swanson. but also Amy Locane's been locked up for a while, so I'm guessing this would be one of them conjugal visits, and I've always been sort of fascinated with those because I imagine they're extra hot and extra dirty. So I'm going to make out hard with Amy Locane in a conjugal visit. I'm going to marry Alyssa Milano, and then I'm just going to never speak to the other one. Christy Swanson. Can't even remember her name. All right, there you go. Birthday girls. Born on this day in 1980, Jake Gyllenhaal. He's famous. I don't know why. We already have a Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know why we need a Jake Gyllenhaal. But here he is. Got too many of these Jake Gyllenhaal types. You know, the kind with ripped bodies but like jacked up faces. Yeah, I'm sorry. Jake Gyllenhaal's not hot, okay? You know who's hot? Leonardo DiCaprio's hot. You know who's hot? Austin Butler's hot. You know who's hot? Brad Pitt's hot. You know who's not hot? Adam Driver. Adam Driver is not hot. Jake Gyllenhaal is not hot. Joaquin Phoenix is not hot. What is going on here? They just got good bodies. You women are so easy. You could have like a big giant Adam Driver nose and women be like, he's so hot. No, he's not. If he was changing your oil, well, he is tall. That is the thing. Okay, if you're 6'2" and not fat, you can be ugly as a guy. And women will think you're hot. That's all it takes. Or if you're fat, old, and ugly and have a lot of money, we also know that works. That works. Anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal celebrating a birthday. Apparently he's not. No, or hot. No, he's not. He's not. And I know that I'm neither a woman nor gay, but I will not stand for this madness. Pete Davidson. You out here making Pete Davidson hot. What? Luigi Mangione, I get. That dude's hot. That dude's hot. Jake Gyllenhaal, not hot. Here's somebody who's hot. Here's somebody who's real hot, but they're so... How do I say this? Oh, boy. Well, New York private school, elite, super sophisticated, also homosexual, probably really into like alternative kind of things. That's who this person is. But also on top of that, if they would just shut their mouth and wear a tuxedo, they'd be like super hot. But they're not. They're like super gay guy who runs an art gallery in New York. That's what they are. Instead of just shutting their mouth and being hot. Talking about the birthday boy. Born on this day in 1987, Ronan Farrow. Ronan Farrow. He's a writer for the New Yorker. He was big on the look. Hey, Ronan Farrow and Alyssa Milano. It's your birthday. Ronan Farrow, very famous, made his name in journalism as one of the guys who wrote about the Me Too movement and made it big and didn't he lose his job for writing about Weinstein? And then like a couple of months later, Weinstein gets caught and he's vindicated. Anyway, that ain't what we want to talk about Ronan Farrow about, because every time we come along on his birthday once a year, I like to remind us all who Ronan Farrow is. Ronan Farrow is the son of Mia Farrow. Ronan Farrow is the biological child of Mia Farrow. You have to point this out because Mia Farrow's got like a dozen, she collects kids. They're not all hers. Ronan Farrow is biologically, he slid out of Mia, okay? So Ronan Farrow slid out of Mia. He slid out of Mia when Mia was married or not. I don't know. I guess they were never actually married. It was just common law, but whatever. When Ronan Farrow slid out of Mia, Woody Allen was the dad. Woody Allen believed he was the dad. Woody Allen still believes he is the dad, and Mia Farrow is the mother of Ronan Farrow. Now, where does this get complicated? Well, for one thing, Ronan Farrow doesn't look a goddamn thing like Woody Allen. Like, there's no way that is Woody Allen's kid. Ronan Farrow is super handsome, right? And first of all, his mom's beautiful. Mia Farrow's a beautiful woman. Just look at her back in the 60s. You know what she's working with genetically. She's beautiful. So the beautiful Mia Farrow stuff went to the son. Somehow, none of the ugly stuff from Woody Allen, none of that weird Woody Allen, Nebuchadnezzar, kind of stuff, none of that went to him. No, instead, there's just like this ass kicker vibe with Ronan Farrow. He like doesn't give a shit about anything. He's not afraid about anybody. He's just gonna take on the world. He's got this like energy. So that ain't Woody Allen either. Woody Allen is apologetic and nervous and anxious. So Mia Farrow's husband before Woody Allen was Frank Sinatra. All right, can we stop playing this game? Frank Sinatra was really upset when Mia left Frank. Mia left Frank because Rosemary's Baby, I think it was. Frank wanted Mia to star opposite him in The Detective, which was a movie Frank was making. But Mia Farrow had this shot in this new Polanski film, Rosemary's Baby. And she said, no, Frank, I'm doing Rosemary's Baby. And Frank was like, get out of here, baby. And so he left her, and then she bounced around. Years later, she ends up hooking up with Woody Allen. Now, Frank and Mia, here's the thing about Frank and Mia, okay? It was all about the sex. All about the sex. Frank loved banging Mia. He loved it. She was like 30 years younger than him. Frank's like a guy in his 50s. He's probably like my age now. She's like 25, 28, whatever. I don't know. She's hot. She's on Peyton Place. She's a big young ingenue on TV. So Frank's loving it. He's like, man, she's awesome. But also, Mia loved banging Frank. Mia had a Frank thing. I know he's much older, but he was Frank. And he was like Mr. Large and in charge. And she was like this young 20-something-year-old girl. And he was the king of Hollywood. And she was like, oh, God, he's so hot. So they had this lust for each other. And the whole time that Mia was with Woody, she was hooking up with Frank Sinatra. I mean, we now know this from biographies and, all of this kind of stuff. There's even, and I was looking for this clip and I couldn't find it. There's this incredibly great clip from a movie that was made probably 20 years ago now about Woody and Mia. It was a made-for-television movie. It was like a 5-part miniseries, Woody and Mia. Anyway, there's this scene. Woody Allen and Mia Farrow never lived together, even though they were a family. Mia Farrow lived in an apartment building at Central Park West with like 15 kids that Woody was paying for and all this stuff. Woody lived in an apartment at Central Park East across the park by himself because he's an artist. Because, he just didn't want to be around Mia and her fucking 40 kids or whatever. So he's over there making Annie Hall and all that shit. And right across the park, and they looked at each other through, binoculars and all that shit that rich people do. So anyway, there's this great scene where Woody and Mia finds out about Woody and Sun Yi, and Mia has a meltdown. So Woody has to run through the park from his apartment across the park to the Mia Farrow home where all the kids are. And he comes running up the steps and she's locked in the bathroom. And the actor playing Woody is like, Mia, you got to let me in. We need to talk about this, Mia. It's not what you understand. And then Mia says to him through the door, and this is the clip that I've been looking for because I can't find it. But Mia says to him through the door, Woody, I would go home. She goes, Woody, I would go home if I were you right now. I'm calling Frank. And like Woody goes, don't call Frank. Please don't call Frank. Oh, God, Mia, don't call Frank. Because everybody was afraid of Frank Sinatra. Anyway, let me show you something. I like to show this every year. Why not? At this point, it's getting a little bit old. But let's take a look at both Woody Allen and Frank Sinatra and Ronan Farrow. And let's try and figure out who's the daddy. Okay, in the middle, you've got old Blue Eyes. See him? That's Frank Sinatra in the middle. Here you got Woody Allen. You see, they look nothing alike. Can we at least start there? Let's start the Frank Sinatra and Woody Allen look nothing alike. Look at them blue eyes. I'm just saying. What was Frank's nickname? Old Hazel Eyes? No, Frank was Old Blue Eyes. Look at these two. This is the father. This is the son. This guy thinks he's the father. Nobody else does. Look at these more. Look at that. Look at that. That's a Sinatra. Look at the eyes and the nose, for crying out loud. Look at this. This ain't this. There's a really good one. Hold on. That's it. Case closed. All right. Ronan Farrow is Frank Sinatra's boy. Frank was hooking up with Mia because the sex was hot. Look at these two. That's it. Case closed. But as is often the case with these cultural phenomena that we experience, Family Guy has a take on it. Let's watch Family Guy's take on the whole Ronan Farrow, Woody Allen, whatever you want to call it. Here you go. That's a very funny clip from Family Guy, Ronan Farrow and Woody Allen. Enjoy, shall we? Okay, why not?
I guess things not always what they seem.
Yeah. I mean, except for Ronan Farrow, who is clearly Woody Allen's son and absolutely not Frank Sinatra's.
I'm glad you could make it home for the family dinner, Ronan.
You got it, Four Eyes. Wouldn't miss a dinner with my cuckoo dad for the world. Hey, Anime Wong, no ticky, no shirty. I'm just kidding around, Rice Bowl. Jeez, lighten up. This room is tighter than Ava Gardner's caboose. Us, right? It's like looking in a mirror.
I love it. If only that's how Ronan Farrow talked. He doesn't. He doesn't talk at all like Frank. He's got none of that, Frank. He's very New York sophisticated, very feminine. He's a feminine man. Frank was a very masculine guy. Hey, shut up, right? That was Frank. Ronan don't have that. But Ronan's got the other Sinatra shit. Like the won't back down, is coming for your jugular, is going to win at all costs. Happy birthday, Ronan Farrow. Definitely not Frank Sinatra's son. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, that's going to do it. That's going to be the birthdays. Let's move into the deads. These are people who died on this day. Not a lot of them today, which is, I guess, a good thing. Here we go. Where'd they go? Heaven or hell? Dead on this day, 2005. Vincent the Chin, Gigante, American mobster. Vinny the Chin. Do you watch Godfather of Harlem? I don't know if you guys watch Godfather. Godfather of Harlem's really good. It's the story of, guy who was the Godfather of Harlem. Stars Forrest Whitaker. It's really good. I can't think of the guy's name. Anyway, the main Italian boss characterized in this is Vinny the Chin. Vinny the Chin Gigante. I think it's played by Vincent D'Onofrio in the series. He's very good. Vinny the Chin, he led the Genovese family. So the other day we were talking about, I love my 5 families in American organized crime history. The other day we were talking about the anniversary of the takedown, the hit, the whacking of the century, really, of Paulie Castellano in front of Sparks Steakhouse. That was perpetrated internally by the Gambino family, one of the 5 families. The Genovese were another of the 5 families, the Genovese family. And the reason I mention this is because here we have a guy, Vinny the Chin Gigante, who was head of the Genovese family at the time that Gotti and a crew of others decided to take down Gambino boss Big Paulie Castellano, which means Vinny the Chin would have had to have been okay with it, or they would have immediately gone to war against the Gambinos. And I don't believe that happened. Vinny the Chin, dead on this day in 2005, became very famous in the last 10, 15 years of his life as being, he's the guy who pretended he was insane so that he could stay out of court. They claimed diminished capacity and that he was an old man, a senile old man, so he couldn't be brought to trial on all of these charges that the feds had on him. And to make his case, Vinny the Chin would wander around Greenwich Village in slippers and a bathrobe every day for like 10 years. Just wandered around, like, imitating like he's got dementia or whatever. He's in hell, of course, because he's a gangster. Vincent Gigante, Vinny the Chin, led the Genovese crime family for a number of years in the 70s and 80s. Vinny the Chin, by the way, got his name Vinny the Chin because he was a professional boxer, and you couldn't knock him out, and he became very famous for not being able to, nobody could knock him out. And then, of course, he fixed a fight where somebody knocked him out, and everybody got rich. Vinny the Chin Gigante, dead on this day in 2005 and definitely going to hell. Dead on this day in 2013, Al Goldstein, American publisher, First Amendment activist, publisher, pornographer. Make sure we get that out there. Publisher of Screw Magazine, publisher of Fuck Magazine, publisher of Cunt Magazine. I mean, anything that was offensive, Al Goldstein published it. I'm not kidding. You just go look him up. He was Larry Flint's best friend. He took what Larry Flint was doing and said, "Hold my beer." Playboy, Hugh Hefner, he gets credit for boobs. He's like, he started showing naked girls with hot boobs. Guccione in Penthouse, he gets credit for the Bush. They went Bush. Guccione went, let's do something different. We got to compete with Playboy. They're showing boobs. Let's show Bush. They showed Bush. Larry Flint comes around. He's like, how do I compete? What am I going to do? Larry Flint's like, spread them. Larry Flint, Hustler Magazine. They're showing like internal organs. Then there's Al Goldstein. Hardcore photograph pornography in a magazine. Screw magazine. Al Goldstein. Let me tell you something about Al Goldstein. I had an opportunity to interview him. We spent a good hour and a half with him at the end of his life. We were out there at Duke's. Remember Duke's Original Roadhouse? We were doing a live show, my partner Kelly and I. And Al Goldstein came out. And I remember talking with him. And I just remember being fascinated by this old man and these stories that he told. He's probably going to hell, I think that, the First Amendment advocacy, I think that came about. I don't think he intended, like it wasn't from the beginning. He's like, I'm going to show some really gross sexual stuff, and I'm doing it because I want everybody to be able to know that we are living in a free country where I don't think that's what he started out. He started out with, how do I make some money? Yeah, let's show some hardcore. And then they went, we're trying to shut you down. And then he went, First Amendment, I'm a patriot. So I don't know how authentic his, stripes are. Hugh Hefner, I think, definitely has more prominent stripes in that area. Larry Flint as well. But he's going to hell. Al Goldstein going to hell. All right, there we have it. That's going to do it. Those are the deads. We've gone through the first 3 quarters of today's show. It's time to talk about all the things that are happening today, the hot topics, the current events. But first, let's reward Tracy, our executive producer of today's show. Thank you so much, Tracy. Tracy helped out yesterday. She dropped a tip. Chuckles Nelson also involved in the tip-in yesterday. Thank you, Chuckles. Tracy is our executive producer. If you would like to be tomorrow's executive producer, the executive producer of the Friday show, all you got to do is drop a tip. Drop a tip in either the Venmo or the Cash App. I'll leave it up. You can do it right there at your leisure. Support this kind of talk radio, non-political. I don't care how you voted. I believe that, the rule of 70% of us. 15% on the right are nuts. 15% on the left are nuts. That's 30% I'm not dealing with anymore. That leaves us 70%, the normal people. We gather every day here at noon. Now we're going to talk about the world. All right, let's see what's happening. What are the big stories? Government shutdown. All right, so here's what's up, right? Government going to shut down? I don't know. Probably not. They always do this. They're like, it's going to shut down, and then you won't be able to go to Yellowstone Park. And okay, I wasn't going to Yellowstone Park, so I don't care. I'm pretty sure that, in this country, we could all stand with maybe not going to Yellowstone Park for a couple of weeks while people work their shit out. Look, this is apparently getting to be serious. There was a bipartisan deal that was agreed to, whether you want to call this a lame duck session or whatever. There was a bipartisan deal that was agreed to keep the government open. And now apparently Donald Trump and Elon Musk have gotten into the ears of a bunch of people. And now that ain't so much going to happen. So now we're looking at a government shutdown. Okay. Now there was a time in my life, a few years back, where the thought of government shutdown was, pearl clutching time. Oh my goodness. Oh no, they're going to shut down the government. Today, 2024, after the last election, I say, bring it on. What the fuck? Who cares? Burn it all down. And once again, if we can't all agree, and I do think that in our more lucid moments, we can all agree with this statement. Our government is a bouillabaisse of corruption. It is a goddamn cesspool of unnecessary red tape and bureaucratic bullshit. We can all agree on that, right? We can all agree that our government system has been built with add-ons over the years, and it's just too bloated and but we can all agree on that. Okay. All right. So for a lot of years, both parties in their own way have been trying to address this situation and not getting anywhere. And when I say for a number of years, I mean, 200 years. We've never had this well-oiled machine of a government that's just humming along and everybody's happy with how the money's being spent. It's never happened. And it's probably because of the system itself. The system itself needs to be redone. Fine. Elections have consequences. So now we're going to get a plutocracy of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and they're going to go into the whatever, the bureaucracy, and they're going to burn it all down. Burn it all down. Maybe it starts with the government shutting down on Friday, and who knows? Are we all going to die? No. Is it going to be bad for like some people? Yeah, but it's going to be a small amount of people. You know, I don't work for the government, so I'm not going to be affected. So I'm not going to care. And you're probably the same way. Oh, what, you got a cousin who works for the government? Sucks to be them. They're not me. Not enough of us work for the government for this to be a real problem. So they're just going to shut it all down. And maybe the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to try to go to a museum and it's going to be closed. Oh, wah. I don't know. Good? Is it bad? Aren't we just starting over? That's how I'm looking at it. We're just starting over, right? We got a whiteboard, and it's crazy. Right now, it's like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like a serial killer. And then they got things going this way and that way and all kinds of crazy math equations, right? That's the whiteboard. That represents our government as it currently stands. I think we just voted to go just erase it all. We're going to start over. Okay, let's go. And maybe it begins with the government shutting down on Friday. Here we go. Let's see here. Luigi Manicotti. What's his name? Mangione. By the way, thanks, losers. None of you tried to get the rumor started that Chuck Mangione from Feels So Good fame yeah, that's right. Mouth flugelhorn. I can do it. I tried to get that started as a rumor. I figured, what do we got? Maybe 100 people here total, right? So maybe 100 people can just start that rumor. 100 different platforms tweeting out, did you hear Chuck Mangione was none of you? None of you did it. None of you. So now we've lost that battle. So now we can't have that joke. We can't have that fun. We can't share in that positive earthly energy that would have been created. We'd have all laughed about it. Anyway, big news. In the Luigi Mangione, not related to Chuck Mangione, the Luigi Mangione story. The feds are involved. Now, this was a big question. Certainly me and E Gallery Studio. Me and E, we've been talking about it. What's this going to do? Is they going to screw this up at the state level? Is this going to be a New York thing? They're trying to bring him back to New York, extraditing. He doesn't want to go. Where are the federal charges? My God, there's obviously half a dozen federal charges. Well, the feds have stepped up. They've unsealed documents, and Luigi Mangione, he's being held now on federal murder charges, 2 counts of stalking, also murder, and also 2 gun charges. One being that he used the gun to kill him. That seems like a double up on the murder charge, but okay. Used the gun to kill him, and of course the silencer that he used. It says Luigi Mangione, the suspect charged with the shooting death of CEO of United Healthcare, will return to New York to face murder charges after agreeing to be extradited during a court appearance in Pennsylvania on Thursday morning. That was this morning. He gave up the extradition fight. He's back in New York. CNN is falling all over their dick trying to cover it, showing his tiny little plane landing. So he is now back in New York, Luigi, and he's now facing additional federal charges. All right. Drones. What drones? That story's gone. We're done talking about it. They're done talking about it. They've been told. The right people have told the right people at CNN, Fox, wherever, shut up about it. Seriously, we're done. We're bored with it. It's Christmas. That was fun. What, they're not going to tell us? Huh, that was really scary. Remember how we were all worked up demanding to be told? And now what? Now they're not going to tell us? Oh, okay, whatever. That's us. That's humanity. We're just going to go on with whatever. I guess we have drones now. It's kind of where we are. Even hashtag NJ drones. You're letting me down. That was such a fun hashtag to follow. Now everybody's like, yeah, saw drones again. The disinformation campaign has been really good too, with all of the flooding the chats with pictures of obvious airplanes and people going, I saw a drone over my house. And then people are like, oh my God, maybe they're not drones. Maybe they are airplanes. And then you got the White House going, they're just airplanes. And so now everybody's like, oh, maybe they are just airplanes. We're so stupid. We just let two sources of misinformation collide in front of us. And now we believe it is fact. We're stupid. Merry Christmas. Anyway, the drone thing ain't going away. And look at this. My friend over there at Radio Dallas, they say we got drones now in North Texas. Of course, you knew it wasn't going to take long. See what this story is. Multiple drones spotted flying in North Texas City. Feds are investigating. Officials are investigating to find who was piloting the drones. We got some pictures. Well, there's drones. We're not freaking out because there's drones. We know about drones. Drones have been around for a few years now. 5 years ago, I saw a drone at a 4th of July thing. I thought it was a UFO. I filmed it. I put it online. Turned out it was a drone. I didn't know about drones at that point. Now I do. We know that drones exist. But these drones seem big. They seem to be flying in the same pattern, and they're flying together. It's just weird. Stop gaslighting us. Anyway, here's what's happening in North Texas. We got some video. Let's see what this is. It's going to be shitty video. I think this also comes from White Settlement, which is, pretty sketch. The name is sketchy, so let's see here. Gonna make us watch a commercial. There you go. They're gonna let us pop. All right, here we go. So here's the North.
Look up.
Flying in the night sky.
People just want to know who's flying it, what are they doing?
It's the latest unidentified drone mystery, this time in White Settlement.
We haven't seen the formation of drones like that before.
Slowly moving.
Officers capturing video of the hovering drones last night after getting multiple calls about 6 drones flying together in a no-fly zone near Lockheed Martin and Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base.
Pretty serious concerns when you have drones operating that close to an active runway and airfield.
It comes amid a surge in unidentified drone sightings happening all across the country. Sightings have been reported in at least 7 states and in other military bases.
There's no national security threat we're seeing at this time and no threat to public safety.
A former U.S. Navy fighter pilot pushing back.
I would pose to Admiral Kirby, why is this just an issue that's popping up now if these drones are so common within our airspace? I assure you that our adversaries are watching our reaction to this and they are taking notes.
White Settlement police say identifying the origin of the drones hasn't been easy.
Is this a ploy just to get attention? Is this, again, a copycat kind of situation because you're seeing what's happening in other parts of the country? We just don't know because we haven't been able to identify them.
Right above you. Look up.
The sightings prompting the FBI and NCIS to intervene to figure out who is behind this. Meanwhile, curiosity surrounding a series of mysterious drone sightings nationwide and now locally only grows. In White Settlement, I'm Adriana Dan.
All right. Thank you, Adriana. That was very nice of you to file that report specifically for us here on the Noontime Rant. So if you have a drone, like if you got a drone, and maybe you got a drone for Christmas last year and you're like, I played with it for a month. And you're like, it's been in the garage. If you got a drone, you're flying the drone now. Every night you're going in your, so we're seeing more drones, right? Like flying your drone is becoming a thing. If not, there's people like, I'm going to fly my drone and freak people out. Because now people are freaking out at seeing common everyday drones, which should be a normalized thing. Yeah. The FAA has now restricted airspace in certain areas of New Jersey. Now, a month into this whole thing, now the FAA is getting involved. All right, like I said, this story is petering out. We're not going to have any answers, just like we don't know how that Malaysian airplane disappeared. We lost interest. Totally. I don't care. What's next? That's us. We're simple creatures. We get all worked up our emotions, and for 72 hours, we are white hot. I demand to know. And then on day 4, you're like, wait, what was I mad about? What did I want? So we don't know. So the drones are going to go away. It's going to be a thing. 5 years from now, we're going to be like, remember 5 years from now, we're going to be like, remember 10 years ago when them drones? That's how we're going to be. We're not going to remember any of this. All right, let's talk about one of the good ones. That's right. As a class of people, they all suck. Sometimes they're okay, once in a while. And when that occurs, I like to point that out, and I like to call them one of the good ones. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill, lazy, shiftless, untrustworthy, criminal-minded, take, know nothing, do nothing, typical run-of-the-mill billionaires. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about one of the good ones. One of the good ones. My favorite billionaire. Do you have a favorite billionaire? We should all have a favorite billionaire. Why? So that all the other billionaires that we're aware of are deemed unacceptable. Simply because you have knowledge of one billionaire who is good. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about super hot and sexy in the future, Mrs. Pugs Moran, Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Scott, she's the best. She's the best billionaire out there. Mackenzie Scott helped build Amazon along with her husband, Jeff Bezos. They met in college back in 1992. They moved from the East Coast where they were both they were both analysts. They're both super smart computer people, but she comes from a little bit of money, whereas Jeff didn't. So they move out to California and they build up this little company that turns out to be Amazon. And in the beginning, it's like, look at us, look at the married couple who built Amazon. And that lasted about a year because she got pregnant. And she's like, we're going to have a family. So she went and she raised the family, and Amazon is Amazon. And then they got divorced because, I don't know, I think she hit 40, and you're Jeff Bezos. You're like, I don't need to be with. Are you sure you don't want to get bigger tits? Seriously, we're rich now. Come on, Mackenzie. I can get you double D's. Are you sure? And she's like, no. Like, can it maybe some plastic surgery? Can you? You're 40. I'm Jeff Bezos. She's like, but I'm Mackenzie Scott, which used to mean something, and it did. So anyway, they got divorced. She got half. She got half because they were able to demonstrate that she was as important to the building of Amazon as he was. So it wasn't your typical divorce where it's just the woman gets the money. No, she was very important. So what is she doing with her 150 quadrillion billion dollars? She's giving it all away, man. Mackenzie Scott, she understands something that I understand, and that is know your bag. This isn't a dick measuring contest, okay? Somehow I think that, if it's a dick measuring contest, Elon Musk is long dong silver. Elon Musk is running away with the wealthiest man contest, okay? So at some point that becomes irrelevant. It's just a dick measuring contest. If you can't live in a way that fulfills your every wildest dream for $1 billion, there's something wrong with you, okay? That's knowing what your bag is. Mackenzie Scott knows what her bag is. She's done it again. She's basically given away. I think she had 50 billion, and I think she's already given away half of that. She has also, as of this morning, donated another 2 billion. This is not these people, these billionaires, they donate I would like to give a $250,000 check to. No, man, this is real. When billionaires start dropping billion-dollar donations, philanthropist Mackenzie Scott reveals another $2 billion in donations for 2024. Another $2 billion. Again, she's already given away almost. Wait, hold on. I'll give you the full number. It's a crazy number. Billionaire author and philanthropist Mackenzie Scott acknowledged another $2 billion in donations in a blog post Wednesday, bringing the total that she's given away since 2019. Okay, 5 years. In 5 years, she has given away $19.2 billion to causes, to getting water in Africa, building schools, things that are making an instantaneous impact on people, on humans, saving lives. She also revealed new information about how she was managing her wealth, saying she had directors, advisors to invest her on her funds. And most of the grants that she has made in 2024, she said, went to bolstering economic security and opportunities for people. I've asked the investment team helping me manage my assets. I'm working to give away to source funds and companies focused on for-profit solutions to these challenges. That is in contrast to withdrawing funds from a bank account or from a stock portfolio that increases the wealth and influence of leaders who already have it. So she's basically looking to invest in infrastructures and in business in these developing regions, but she's looking to invest in, instead of basically just giving the money to like what she described, like a warlord or a wealthy, king or whatever, who would then take all the credit. She is individually going to be investing in businesses of the peasants. That's incredible. And she wants them to make money. She wants them to build. She's cool. I love her. Mackenzie Scott. We should look at her just in case you don't know who she is. Because I'm telling you, she's going to heaven, man. She's going to heaven. Jeff Bezos, you can say what you want about Jeff Bezos, but it's hysterical that she's giving all that money away. Because Bezos does not give enough of it away. Bezos is out there building rockets, trying to, start space hotels and shit. That's nonsense. You're going to say, Pugs, I thought you loved that stuff. No, what Bezos is doing is nonsense. I think I've talked about this before. What Elon Musk is doing, for all of his faults in other areas, Elon Musk is trying to do something that, if he succeeds, will greatly benefit humanity. Elon is going forth. He's doing the Star Trek thing. Jeff Bezos wants to sell fucking plane rides in orbit. That's what Jeff Bezos is doing, right? There's nothing admirable about that. That's just a cash grab. Elon is doing something that the world will remember. There she is. Look at her, Mackenzie Scott. One of the good ones. There are some good billionaires out there. Just woke up this morning and posted, I'm going to give $2 billion away today. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about this. We got a list here of the most dangerous cities in America. Okay, this comes out every year, so this is going to be for 2024. How do you do that? The year's not over. Okay. Hold on, let me make sure. Is this the one? Did I click the right one? This is the FBI, right? Yeah. All right, this is the FBI. There you go. Federal Bureau of Investigation's crime statistics have been assembled for the past year. The data is based on a number of serious felonies recorded per 100,000 people in 1 year, including manslaughter, murder, assault, robbery, and other serious crimes. While numbers may look very high, the rate of crime is on a decline across the United States. All right, so the FBI says the crime rate is down across the United States. That's a 3-year trend. But what are the most dangerous cities in America? Okay, no, obviously, those of you who know me, you know that I'm from Chicago, and I know that most of you are, expecting Chicago to be number one, because for some fucking reason that I don't understand, everybody thinks Chicago's like the most dangerous city in America. Chicago has never been rated the most dangerous city in America. Chicago's never been like in the top 25 most dangerous cities in America. But, it is where Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are from. So Fox News spent about 15 years demonizing every terrible thing that came out of Chicago, to the point where you got people going, it's like Beirut. No, it's not. You fucking idiots. You live in Chicago? Did you get shot? Shut up, dummy. Dallas is more dangerous than Chicago per 100,000 people. You fucking morons. Anyway, we got a list. Are you ready? Let's do the top 10 most dangerous cities in America. Top 10. And Chicago ain't mentioned. We ain't even in the top 10. We're not even going to be in the top 25 probably. It's too cold. You think that these southern cities where it's 80 degrees in December aren't going to have crazy higher crime rates? You're nuts. Only Jussie Smollett gets mugged in Chicago in the winter. And he had to make that shit up. All right. Number 10, most dangerous city in the United States, according to FBI crime statistics for the year 2024. Number 10, this place, Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, that place sucks. Indianapolis, first of all, there's like 2 or 3 restaurants. Seriously, if you want to have fun in Indiana, you got to go to Bloomington. You got to go to Bloomington. You got to go to Fort Wayne. You can have a good time at Fort Wayne. You got to go to Bloomington. You got to go to the college towns. You got to go to South Bend. But even then, South Bend's not fun. Let's not kid ourselves. It's fun on Saturday afternoons. It's not fun. It's a Catholic college. It's not. I would say go to Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne, you can have a good time. Definitely go to the University of Indiana. Stay out of Indianapolis. Ugh. Can I give you one of my son and I's favorite songs? We like to sing songs in the car. The Bottle Rockets have a song called Indianapolis. Oh my God, I could play it for you, but I don't want to. It's got some of the best lyrics ever. The lyrics to the Bottle Rockets Indianapolis starts out with, got a tow from a guy named Joe, cost $60, hope I don't run out of dough. He told me about a sex offense that put him 3 days in jail. I'm stuck in Indianapolis, hope I live to tell the tale. It's just about all of the nonsense that one might encounter in Indianapolis. Number 10, most dangerous, murderous, scariest, where you're going to have the worst time city in America. Indianapolis, number 10. Number 9 is Albuquerque, New Mexico. Been to Albuquerque twice. The first time I was in Albuquerque, I saw the largest cockroach I'd ever seen. It was the size of a house cat. I shit you not. It was a cockroach, and it was in a hotel. And it wasn't in a shitty hotel. It was in a decent hotel. And it was a giant cockroach, and it made me think Albuquerque sucks. Number 9, Albuquerque. Most dangerous city in America. Number 8, Stockton, California. Isn't that where the Diaz brothers are from? You guys know anything about MMA? You guys know Nick and Nate Diaz? I think they're from Stockton. Jesus, man. If they are representative of the people of Stockton, yeah, that's why Stockton is number 8, most dangerous city in America for 2024. Number 7 is going to be Cleveland. Don't say Cleveland doesn't make any lists. Cleveland, number 7, most dangerous city in America. Number 6, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee. That's interesting to me, Milwaukee, because I don't think of Milwaukee as being necessarily dangerous. I love Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a nice walk-in city. I don't know. That's strange to me, but okay. Milwaukee, according to FBI crime statistics for the year 2024, the 6th most dangerous city in America. Number 5, well, we just saw it. They can't even protect their most valuable assets, and that is, of course, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Kansas City, Missouri. Number 5 most dangerous city in America. Kelce and Mahomes, they got their houses robbed, right? But that's not dangerous. That's just like robbery. This list is about where somebody's going to hurt you. You're going to end up in an emergency room. Number 5 is Kansas City, Missouri. Number 4 is Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, Memphis is bad, man. There's a lot of bad shit that goes down in Memphis. That place is, you want to talk about an American war zone, Memphis. Number 3, Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, man. You want to talk about an American war zone, you're talking about Baltimore. Yeah. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, man. You want to talk about, you can say this about all of these. All right, the top 5 worst cities in America for violence. Most dangerous cities in America. Number 5 is Kansas City, Missouri. Number 4 is Memphis, Tennessee. Number 3 is Baltimore, Maryland. Number 2 is Detroit, Michigan. And number 1 for the 3rd straight year in a row. Oh, we like to think they're nothing but underachievers down there, but St. Louis, Missouri, 3rd year in a row, the most dangerous city in America. Got any notes here? I'm wondering, like, where do the big cities rank? Because if you've noticed there, the big cities, the top 5 cities in America, your New York, your Los Angeles, your Chicago, your San Francisco, and your Houston. Not represented in the top 10. The big cities have their crime down. Well, it's, you're going to get big city crime, but they seem to have it. They seem to be managing it better than smaller cities. Because, yeah, the top 10, none of these cities are top 10 cities. What's the biggest city represented here? Cleveland, maybe? I don't even know. All right, there you have it. Those are the 10 most dangerous cities in America for 2024, as compiled by the FBI Crime Statistics Bureau. Don't even know if that's a thing. I just made that up. It sounded like a real thing. But I know it came from the FBI. I just don't know exactly what desk. What do we have here? Loudest states. All right, let's talk about the loudest states. I don't know what this is, but I thought it was a nice companion story to the most dangerous states. So if you got sensitive here, excuse me. That was bad. That was really bad. What am I looking at here? Hold on. Time out. Am I racist? I might be racist. I am looking at CNN, and I swear to God, I'm looking at Alex Wagner on CNN. But Alex Wagner is on MSNBC, and now I'm staring at her, and I'm like, it's not Alex Wagner. It's just another Asian woman. So maybe I am racist. I don't know. But look. Here, I'll show you. I got no problem here. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Look at her. Hold on. She looks like Alex Wagner. You know who Alex Wagner is. Anyway, you can't really see her that great. All right, let's get this back. There we go. All right. Maybe I'm racist. Or is that racial? I'm just, I don't know. Just because I think they look alike doesn't mean that I think that I'm, physically, intellectually, and emotionally and morally superior. That's what racism is. I don't mean it. All right, let's keep going. Noisiest. Let's see here. These noisiest. Oh, wait a second. I thought this was a fun. Okay, yeah, this is it. All right, here you go. These are the loudest states. And I don't know why they're loud. I don't know. Maybe we figure out why they're loud. Let's see. All right, we'll give you the top 10, unless Texas is listed somewhere in here. Texas. Yeah, look at Texas. 25. Smack dab in the middle. Texas, you're not too loud and you're not too quiet. You're like just perfect. You're 25. The 25th loudest state. Look at us. I would think Texas would be a lot louder. There's a lot of loud things happening. No, but there's so much of Texas. That's why, because we're not hearing it, maybe. Like, Texas dudes blow shit up. They make bombs and they have fun, but they do it in the middle of nowhere. So maybe that's not, I don't know. Whatever. Let me give you the top 10 loudest states in America. For what reason, I have no idea, but it's Connecticut at number 10. They get a 49.7 number. I don't know what that means. Like, is it good to go up or down? I'm not going to give these numbers because they don't seem to make any sense. Building construction permits per 100,000 residents. Oh, okay. That's what that is. All right. Number 10 loudest state is Connecticut. Number 9 loudest state is Colorado. Well, that's because everything echoes, right? Colorado. It's all mountains, valleys. Number 8, Illinois. Why are we so loud? Why is my home state so loud? 8, I'm getting it. I mean, I don't know why we're loud. What are we doing that's making us loud in Illinois? Number 7, Maryland. Number 6, loudest state, Delaware. What's Delaware doing that they're so loud? Other than being the fake headquarters for every phony corporation in America. I don't know how that works. We're incorporating in Delaware. Why? We're here. We're in Illinois. Why are we not? Well, just don't ask questions. We're incorporating in Delaware. Is that it? A lot of people arguing over why they're incorporated in Delaware. Delaware is the number 6 loudest state. The number 5th loudest state. This makes no sense. Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the tiniest state. Why are they loud? How is Rhode Island loud? Number 4 loudest state. This one makes sense. Yeah, I would think these people are loud. What with their jet skis and gator wrestling. Florida. Boats are absurdly loud. I'm sure that's why Florida is loud. A lot of boats. Number 3 is Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's probably just Philly. They're just so loud in Philly. Number 2 loudest state, Massachusetts. That's pretty loud, Massachusetts. And the number 1 loudest state. Number 1 loudest state in the country. It's in the news today. Boy, oh boy, we've been talking about this state for 4 weeks now. New Jersey. That's right, the drone capital. New Jersey is the single loudest state here in these United States. There you go. All right, who cares? I don't even loudest. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Like you can't fall asleep in New Jersey because somebody's always making a racket. Let's see here. What else do we have? Hey, Cavuto, here's some big news. Neil Cavuto is out at Fox News. Well, I don't know if he's out. He says he's quitting. He's not coming. His last show, Neil Cavuto, the one guy who nobody ever watches at Fox, right? Cavuto's the guy, like I always see his name in the guides. Like when I don't do this anymore, but I used to always see like Cavuto. And I thought that dude gets a lot of name rec in the guide. His show is always on Fox. And I don't think I've ever watched it. I don't watch a lot of Fox to begin with, but I don't know who he is. Neil Cavuto, he's been there from the beginning. 29 years, I think they said. He's like an original Fox News guy. Neil Cavuto. He's gone. All right, there we have that one. Hey, you want to do another list? I just kind of bookmarked this because I thought, well, we're doing lists. This might be a fun one to run through. Let me see. These are the world's most dangerous countries. Most dangerous countries. So we know that St. Louis is the most dangerous city in America, but how about the most dangerous countries? All right, let's see. Here's the list. Oh, my God. Well, of course. Okay, this is stupid. All right, so here, I'll give you the bottom 10 most dangerous countries. All right, number 10 most dangerous country. This is stupid. These are all the ones. Okay, so it's Pakistan, of course, followed by Afghanistan, of course, followed by Iran, of course, followed by Iraq, of course, followed by Russia, of course, followed by Ukraine, of course. All right, so there you go. Here's the 5 most dangerous countries: Ukraine, Lebanon, Palestine, Israel, and Syria. There you go. All right, that wasn't a fun list. Those are all just awful, awful places. All right, let's look at some other countries, though, that made this list. Those are all obviously awful and dangerous places. But let's see. This list is pretty big. It's a risk map. It's a map that shows the world's most dangerous countries where travelers are at serious risk. It is the risk map. Okay. Let me see. All right. So those are the obvious ones. Which one pops up that strikes me as interesting? Yemen, Myanmar, Mozambique. Oh, we're going to run through all the African countries. Guys, is there an African country that you would feel safe traveling to? No, not this. Here's what I'm going to say. Your daughter comes home tomorrow. She says, yeah, hey, Dad, I'm flying to blank in Africa. Is there a country in Africa? Sure as hell ain't in the north. Too close to the Middle East. I don't want my kids going to Cairo. I don't want them going to Egypt. I don't even want them flying into South Africa. Is South Africa like the only one? Would that be like, okay? Africa is jacked up, man. That place is just, why can't they get their shit together? Do you know that if Africa like became like a united thing like Europe or like, parts of Asia or even North America, man, they would be unstoppable. Their natural resources and all that. Instead, every country in Africa is now making up number 20 through 30 on this list. Mozambique, Congo, certain areas of Papua New Guinea. Wait, where is that? Is that Africa? Papua New Guinea sounds like it could be, but also maybe Australia? I don't know. Mozambique, Congo, Somalia, the Central African Republic, South Sudan, Ethiopia, parts of Kenya, Somalia, Nigeria, Chad, Niger. Did you know there was a Nigeria and a Niger? I did not until just now. Mali, Mauritania, Libya. Okay, nothing. There you go. Haiti is the last one. All right, all the usual suspects. I don't want a vacation in any of those places. There you go. That's your list of the most dangerous countries in the world. All right, I'm going to leave you with this. We'll watch another trailer. I know you guys love that, but I like to hip you guys to things that might be interesting. One of the most talked about films, I think is it debuting? Did it already come out in select theaters? I don't know how movies get released anymore. It used to be this movie is coming out the Friday before 4th of July, and that's when it comes out. Now I don't know. Like this movie may have debuted on Amazon Prime, and now it's in theaters, but then it's going to go back to Netflix. I have no idea. I know that it's in theaters, and I know that it's really, I mean, every year come awards season, there are films that come out of nowhere and they become popular to champion these films. Why? Because nobody is, and it makes you interesting to be the one that's like, well, those are all the films everyone's talking about, but here's the one that I think come awards night. And this is that film. Everybody is talking about this film. People are talking about how you will be blown away by this film. Not necessarily the director and the story, although that's being acclaimed as well. But it's the star. The star of the film, they're saying, is going to win an Oscar. That if there is a God in heaven, this star, and this is a real star, this star is going to win an Oscar. And it's somebody that you never thought in your wildest dreams would be winning an Academy Award. Say that this is just another example of the dumbing down, the lowering of the bar, the idiocracy of America, whatever. I don't know. I think it's pretty great. I'm excited about this movie because everything that I've heard is this movie's going to turn you inside out. It is going to wreck you. That's what people are saying. So the movie is The Last Showgirl. And the actress is fucking Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson. They're saying that this is like a role that was created for her. She plays an aging Vegas showgirl. And it's a changing Vegas. And she's no longer the sexiest girl on the strip. And she's done nothing with her life. And it's supposed to be super heavy. It's supposed to be super good. Super good. I know this all sounds like, oh, that sounds. But more to the point, what's got people going, wow, is the performance from Pamela Anderson. See from Baywatch, as it turns out, she might be a freaking great actress. Here you go. This is The Last Showgirl, the trailer. We're going to leave you with this today. I'm excited, and I'm going to root for Pam Anderson. I got no hatred for her.
Places, please. Places, please. This is your place's call for the final performance of the Razzle Dazzle.
Me in Las Vegas used to treat us like movie stars. Costumes, sets. We were ambassadors for style and grace. The Las Vegas Showgirl. The iconic American showgirl.
You have an act prepared?
I do. I'm a dancer.
Music?
Yeah. I gave it to the maestro.
Hold your cards close.
Feeling seen. Feeling beautiful. That is powerful. And I can't imagine my life without it. Doing a job that you don't really love, that's hard.
Whoa, okay. Little bit of a, Pamela Anderson doing something a little different, teaming up with a Coppola, no less. That's why, this movie, it's so, it might actually suck. People are suckers for the next generation of Coppola. And I root for Pam Anderson. I think she always seemed nice. She always seemed, like a nice lady. And hot, whatever. Dumb chick. She did dumb chick stuff in the 90s. She seems nice. Julian Assange and Kid Rock, Tommy Lee, terrible taste in men. Well, whatever. What else did I want to say about that? Was there anything else that I wanted to say about that? Man, I can't think of it. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I appreciate you. Sports Bra says, is this the sequel to Showgirls, and is Pam supposed to be Jesse Spano? No. Showgirls was stupid and exploitative. This is deep. This is about feminine empowerment. I guess, I was saying, is this an example? Let's now make Pam Anderson the new Meryl Streep because we've lowered our standards. All right, maybe that's just untrue. Maybe we haven't lowered our standards. Maybe Pam Anderson is actually turning in a crazy good performance that is worthy of comparisons to Meryl Streep. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But, people used to get nominated for awards and be heralded as great, actors for overcoming disabilities. You think of Daniel Day-Lewis's Christy. Can't think. The My Left Foot guy, right? Or you think of Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, the severely autistic man trying to function in the world. That's what we used to give awards to. Now it's like we see like a former beautiful woman realizing she's not beautiful anymore, and that's her handicap. That's like, oh my God, a woman realizing she's not fuckable anymore. That's just like being paralyzed from the waist down. That's just like being a world-renowned poet, even though you're severely mentally handicapped. Like, is that what the movie's about? Like, it's so sad she's not pretty anymore. It's so hard watching a formerly beautiful woman realize that she's 60. Oh my God. Maybe that's what's so compelling about it. Who knows? We're complicated creatures. I love you guys. I hope it's mutual. We'll meet back here tomorrow. Thank you again to today's executive producer, the incredible, the always appreciated and gifted Tracy. Thank you so much, Tracy. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is drop a little something in the Cash App or the Venmo. There you go. This show does not take commercials. We do not have advertisers. We just, we keep going because you guys keep dropping enough. You guys drop enough every month for us to keep going. We'll keep going. Ain't nobody getting rich around here. Ain't nobody trying to play a shell game. This is a mutual exchange of ideas every day at noon. Me, you, here, Radio Misfits, Kelly Moore Memorial Studios, the beautiful E Gallery, Dallas, Texas. See you tomorrow at noon. I love you guys. Bye.